Hello everyone, back to today's second video update. So we're going to have a look at the weather next week, same days. In today's second video update, we'll also have a look at the Beijing Climate Center for the next 40 days. And that will take us right way through to the second half of May. So we've already done a 5-day forecast. You can find that video here on the homepage. Just scroll down the page a little bit and it's above Snowdesk. There's also the written version. You can get to that from buttons at the top of the page. So essentially it's going to be a very warm start to the 5-day forecast period. In fact, most of the 5-day forecast period is going to be very warm with temperatures into the low to mid-20s Celsius. A lot of dry and sunny weather as well until the weekend when things will start to break down. Sunday is a transitional day from very warm conditions to much cooler conditions, probably containing heavy showers and thunder. And then on Monday, the end of the 5-day forecast period, we're back to much cooler weather. And we'll pick up the story for today's second video update, going out beyond sort of Monday into the rest of next week and the rest of April and also into May as well. So we're going to begin, we will begin by having a look at warm weather actually. We're going to start off with the latest observations from xcweather.co.uk. Really warm afternoon. Temperatures have hit 24 degrees now, 75 Fahrenheit down in the southeast. Let's find it. There we go. London City Airport is our warmest place currently at 24 degrees, 75 Fahrenheit. And if you got that on an afternoon in July or August, you would be doing quite well. That would be around, maybe ever so slightly above average for a afternoon in July or August. So to get that in the middle of April, that really is very, very high temperature indeed. Other parts of the southeast also very warm. So Luton Airport is at 22 degrees, High Wycombe is at 21, Barbara is at 22, Biggin Hill is at 22, London Gatwick is at 23, 73 Fahrenheit. Go a little bit further north to Birmingham Airport, we're up to 20 degrees in the heart of the Midlands. East Midlands Airport is up to 20 degrees. Doncaster is up to 22. Really warm up there. Going a bit further northwards. Let's have a look at Loftus on the east coast. We're at 19 degrees. Not doing too bad at all. Bulmar going further north is at 18. And then we get up towards Scotland. It's a little bit cooler there. Strathallan is at 14. Aviemore is at 14. Although Inverness is at 18. So obviously up on the Moray Firth, there's some decent sunshine coming through up there. Coolest place is around southwestern parts of Scotland. So Campbelltown, somewhere in the southwest of Scotland, is at 10 degrees. And also parts of Northern Ireland, a little bit cooler. Belfast is at 12 degrees there. But it is a very warm afternoon down in the southeast. We've been saying taste of summer, and that is exactly what we've got. This is how the GFS is forecast for temperatures to go over the next week. So very warm today. Maximum suggested to be around 21 to 23 down in the southeast. We know it's ever so slightly higher than that. Might go up another degree or so actually in the next hour. It's not impossible that but it will do, but I think 24 will probably be the highest temperature for today. Tomorrow is warmer still, so in the southeast, the GFS is suggesting 25 or 26, somewhere around London. Excuse me, now you can normally add on a degree or two from that, so 27 is possible tomorrow into the 80s Fahrenheit in the southeast. More widely across England and Wales, we're between, say, 20 and 25 degrees. The heat continues across England and Wales on Friday. It is turning a bit cooler up across Scotland by Friday, but for England and Wales, the heat continues. Temperatures again widely between 20 to 25, and one or two places in the far southeast might go slightly higher than that. Saturday is another very warm day in the southeast. Not quite as warm, perhaps, as parts of northern England, Wales and the Midlands, but still doing okay into the low 20s Celsius. Might be a few thundery showers sparking off on Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday is a transitional day. So this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, when you'll notice there's quite a big east-west split. So in the east, still very warm. Temperatures there being suggested to be around 22 or 23. It's possible they'll be a little bit higher than that. But in the west, it's much cooler. Temperatures across Wales, for example, just 10 or 11 degrees. Southwest England, just 11 to 13. And southwest Scotland down to northwest England and other parts of Scotland generally under 10 degrees into single digit temperatures there, and also quite cool across the Northern Isles. So obviously something quite dramatic is happening with temperatures on Sunday, and that dramatic temperature change is probably going to be triggered by heavy showers and thunderstorms. So it could be quite a dramatic end to this warm spell. And then by Monday, well, look at this, we're back down into actually a little bit cooler than average. I'm going to say back down to average temperature, but that's a bit cooler than average, although I suppose it might be underdoing the temperatures by a degree. So let's say we're back down to average temperatures. England and Wales being suggested to be between around 10 and 14 degrees. And up across Scotland, we're down into single digits as well. Will be a real shock to the system from the heat that we have over the next few days. And then into next week, this Tuesday, looking quite cool with temperatures, and Wednesday as well. Temperatures, again, for England and Wales, just 10 to 14. Scotland and Northern Ireland sat down into single digit temperatures. Really quite disappointing. Actually, large parts of Wales coming out with single digit temperatures as well. So it certainly is going to be a case of back to normal next week. So, picking up the story beyond that, then, let's have a look at the GFS ensembles. We're looking at Oxford today. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Oxford. Very significantly above average at the moment, and going to stay that way over the next few days. Dates along, excuse me again, dates are along the bottom of the chart. So up to the weekend anyway, it is very warm with temperatures at 850 HPA at 10 degrees Celsius. Obviously, early next week, we get quite a big slide in the temperatures. They're going down to average and maybe even slightly below average fairly quickly through the early part of next week. So that's our fairly dramatic change that's taking place. And then through the rest of April into the start of May, this period just here, looks like we're hovering around the 30-year average. Really, but there is quite a bit of scatter. There are a few warmer ensemble members appearing for this these first few days of May, but equally there are several ensemble members that are quite cool. So I think it's inconclusive what happens there with the temperature right at the very end of the month and into the start of May, but it does look quite a bit cooler compared to where we are right now. Precipitation wise, on a dry weather coming up over the next few days, and then going more unsettled from the weekend into next week. Plenty of precipitation spikes coming through. Surface temperatures for Oxford look like that. So this is 20 degrees just here. This is 10 degrees just there, and that's freezing, 0 degrees down there. So we're starting with maximum temperatures at or above 20 degrees Celsius through the weekend, through this weekend into the weekend. But by the early part of next week, big slide in the temperature takes place. So by Monday, we're barely into the teens Celsius. And then we keep it cool through most of next week. Temperatures just a little bit above 10 degrees Celsius at Oxford, but that's pretty cool really for late April. And then into the extended range, no real dramatic warm-up taking place, although I suppose there's a little bit of a warmer trend appearing perhaps for the final days of April and into the start of May, but certainly not getting back to this sort of 20 degree level that we are at right now. Minimum wise, it also looks like we might cool the nights off quite a lot as well, of course, next week. So temperatures holding up above 10 degrees Celsius with our minimums until the weekend, but then early next week those temperatures going into single digits for the minimums, and it looks like they're probably lowering even more at the end of April and the start of May. There are one or two ensemble members, albeit they're outliers, but are going down to frost levels at night by the end of April into the start of May. That's probably a bit over top, but I think it will certainly be turning cooler for the final week to 10 days of the month, or the final week of the month, I should say. Temperature anomalies look like that for the 18th to 26th of April. They're coming out warmer than average, going to be a substantially warmer than average week ahead. And precipitation anomalies, a little bit drier than average for the south, a little bit wetter than average in the north and west. These are gradually day by day trending a little bit wetter day by day. So I think in a couple of days' time, these may well be looking quite wet actually, but from the 18th to the 26th of April, we're still coming out drier than average or near normal with precipitation. So this is how the GFS is looking for Sunday. This is a changeover day. We've got a cold front heading in from off the Atlantic. It'll be in that position at 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It's running into those very warm to hot southerly southeasterly winds, but it's got much cooler west to northwesterly winds following, and this front could well be a trigger for big showers or potentially thunder on Sunday. Expect to see storm watch maybe as early as tomorrow. This is how things look by the time we get through to Monday, and we are back then into westerlies. The warm spell is a distant memory by then. The air is coming from the northern part of the Atlantic up here, so if you follow the isobars back and see the air is originating from the North Atlantic. It's going to be a lot cooler by early next week and pretty showery as well. And then those cool and showery westerly winds continue through next week. This is Thursday, 26th. We do try and get a little bit of a ridge going from the Azores high down to the southwest. So maybe a bit drier and a little bit milder for the south in the second half of next week. But certainly not going back to the temperatures we got right now. Into the extended range, which takes into the early part of May, just generally staying cool and unsettled, with low pressure continuing to move in from off the Atlantic Ocean. ECMWF looks like that. So again, Sunday is a transitional day, still in those warm southerly winds. And by the way, the London Marathon is on Sunday, and it could be the hottest London Marathon on record. But there's a risk of big showers and thunderstorms as well for that event on Sunday afternoon. So if you're running or observing, you will need to stay hydrated and probably take, well, if you're observing, probably take some waterproofs as well. Through to Monday, the heat has gone. We've pushed that cold front through, and we're into a much cooler run of westerly winds, bringing showers along with spells of rain. And then rest of next week just looks pretty cool and unsettled, really finishing up on day 10, which is Saturday 28th of April, looking very unsettled. There's a dartboard low sitting over the top of the country that will be bringing not only really cool temperatures, but also a large amounts of rainfall as well. Again, probably a little bit over top, but GFS doesn't really show that at the same time frame. But it's a general idea that next week it's back to normal business as normal, with the weather driving in off the Atlantic. Finally, just have a look at the charts from the Beijing Climate Center. So these are the 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period takes us from the 16th to 25th of April. We've got above average heights in the coming 10 days, sitting over and to the east of the British Isles, and again over there as well, with a trough in the Atlantic, and the flow is pulling up from the south. So this is our warm episode, our warm outbreak, with the southerly winds bringing the early burst of summer that is starting today. This takes us through to the next 10-day period. This is the 26th of April through to the 5th of May. Above average heights still around Spain and Portugal, but below average heights over to the north and northeast of the British Isles. The jet streams coming through like that. So that's the return of the westerlies, much more unsettled and cooler particularly. Then we go through to the next 10-day period. This will take us from the 6th through to the 15th of May, with slightly average to above average heights out to west of British Isles, below average heights up to the north. The jet stream's doing something like that. So the flow is still generally from a west-northwesterly direction, relatively cool, but perhaps not too unsettled. And then we go through to the final 10-day period, which takes us from the 16th through to the 25th of May, with below average heights up to the north and over the country, and above average heights, a bit of a ridge in the middle of the Atlantic. That one looks more unsettled, and it still looks quite cool as well, with the wind and the flow from a west-northwesterly direction. Not dramatically so, but certainly rather cool, I think, here for May. Temperature anomalies for the next 40 days. So again, the first 10-day period taking us from the 16th to the 25th of April comes out substantially warmer than average for not just the UK, but for most parts of Europe over there as well. Really warm 10 days coming up. But then the next 10-day period, look at this, is 26th of April through to the 5th of May, and it's going much cooler with the temperature anomaly. It's going below average. And then we go through to the next 10-day period, which is the 6th through to the 15th of May, And that one is also coming out below average with the temperature anomalies. And we finish up with the final 10 days, which is the 16th through to the 25th of May. And temperature anomalies are still cooler than average. In fact, they're cooling more in that final 10 days, days 31 to 40, than they are in the previous 10 days, which is, of course, is days 21 to 30. So the upshot is that most of May is looking relatively mediocre, with the temperatures perhaps not desperately wet. He's not signalling a disastrously wet sort of pattern, but just rather cool with the winds from the west-northwesterly direction, and almost certainly bringing at the very least showery conditions, particularly, I would have thought, to the north. We'll worry about that a bit nearer the time. Next week to 10 days then, where we're starting off with the hot weather at the moment. We've been anticipating it. It's here. It's going to be staying for the next few days. But over the weekend, it's going to break down. Saturday still looks mostly dry and very warm. But Sunday, we'll see a change to heavy showers and maybe thunderstorms. And then next week, it looks showery, it looks cool, maybe some longer spells of rain coming in as well. If the Beijing Climate Center is right, those conditions could carry us through into May as well. Don't forget to check out 5-day forecast if you haven't yet done so, and I'd suggest you get out and enjoy the sunshine if you enjoy it, because I don't think this is going to last much beyond the weekend. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.